Hey everybody, I'm Kevin with Rhino Offroad, and today I'm going to cover by far the most important and best upgrade that I have done for my Jeep Wrangler, period. So let's check it out. Now just over 2 years ago, Theo from Rugged Bound sent me the Big Country 4x4 Savute drawer system and fridge slide for the back of my Jeep JK. In those 2 years, I have put this thing through its paces, through numerous snow wheeling trips way up in the high Sierra, to sub-0 degree Fahrenheit temperatures, as well as middle of Death Valley in the summer, searing heat. And I can confidently say after 2 years that the Savute drawer system is one of the best overland drawer systems that you can buy for the Jeep Wrangler, JK or JL, period. Now if the name Rugged Bound sounds familiar, it's probably because it is. Theo from Rugged Bound also sent me the Oshkosh Jr. 270 degree awning, which I'm still using on my Jeep and I reviewed about 6 months ago with Will from Venture to Roam. If you haven't caught that review video, I'll throw it up here with a link so that you can check that out later. But as we start this review, let's first answer one fundamental question that I get a lot on my channel, which is, why do you even need a drawer system in the back of your Jeep? Isn't that unnecessary money and weight? To answer that question, let me show you what my previous setup was. I had a Ridgeline gear bag hung from the back seat of my headrest, and after a hard day of rock crawling to camp, any sense of organization I had when I started the trip was totally out the window. You need something that can stand up to those harsh conditions without getting rattled around. But even more important in my opinion is that I found that after a long day's work on a Friday afternoon, if my Jeep wasn't already loaded up, it became really easy just to cancel the trip and save it for another weekend. Having an organization system such as this means that my Jeep is always ready to go. All I have to do is add food, water, and some clothes, and I can be on the road in just a matter of minutes. And it's for all those reasons that after 2 years, I still have this heavy drawer in the back of my Jeep. And don't get me wrong, it is heavy. It weighs in at about 140 to 150 pounds. However, given the alternatives, this is absolutely the best setup for the kind of overlanding and camping that I do. Now first we'll cover the specifics of the drawer and then we'll look at the fridge slide. So this drawer, again, the Savute drawer system for the Jeep JK is 38 gallons, which is pretty much the largest drawer that you can get for the Jeep Wrangler. The Jeep JL's version is ever so slightly smaller. It's about 31 gallons, simply driven by the fact that the back of the Jeep JL is slightly smaller than the JK, and that drawer system is not as high. Now, two of my favorite features we can actually see before we ever even open the drawer up. And first off, that is that the drawer is custom molded to the back of the Jeep Wrangler. This both allows for kind of a factory fit and finish, as well as gives you extra storage options on both sides of the box of the drawer itself. If you look at the driver's side, this wood panel is custom molded around the wheel well, as well as the passenger side around the wheel well and the subwoofer. And taking a quick look here at the side trim panel, you can see this basically a straight line matches right up against the edge of the drawer system. And then this is custom cut all around the wheel well of the Jeep Wrangler with this cutout here to make it easily accessible. This is a nice sturdy plywood. I'm not worried about this bending or breaking. And again, it's just so cool how well this all works in order to give you a factory fit and finish. So as you'll see, this is the same on both sides. There's actually supports for this trim panel that stick out right here and here. So for example, if I was out winching, I don't need the gloves anymore. We'll throw those back in here, take this trim panel, stick it usually flat side first up against the drawer, just a couple pops, and she's right back in and totally flush. And again, look at now how much area I have to store other gear as well. I'll put my propane tank up here. I will put extra camp chairs and all the things that I need, especially when I'm going out with my kids. Looking at the passenger side trim panel, this one can pop out just like the other side can. I keep all my cords through here in order to basically have a little charging platform, but you'll see just as like the other side, that pops right in. With a lot of drawer systems, they simply just give you a box that can kind of just work in the back of your Jeep. But this one actually maximizes the space. It's carpeted on top as well, which really makes this look like it came right out of the factory. And if that wasn't enough, if we look at the faceplate of this drawer as well, they give you two side aluminum pieces which are cut perfectly to fit between the subwoofer and on the driver's side up against the plastic. So again, it looks like it came out of the factory with this drawer. Another unique feature that most don't have is it has an auxiliary battery compartment with a box built into the drawers itself. So if you look at the passenger side, way up against where it rests against the seat, you can fit a full-size AGM or probably multiple lithium batteries for your auxiliary battery setup. For me, I actually pulled the battery box out and I'm able to fit a full-size EB55 Bluetti back there so that I have a built-in portable battery and inverter system all packaged in one. This allows me, while I'm driving on my trip, to both charge the Bluetti from my car as well as charge all my camera gear, my drone, my phone, etc. And this is the battery box here. I mean, you can see just how deep the drawer is by looking at this thing. It has a latch on the top that is removable, allowing you to access the attach points here in order to actually tie down your battery and then make this thing totally secure. Again, I removed this just because of the Blue Eddy. I didn't necessarily need it, and it fit a little better without it. But I think what is awesome is the fact that you have the ability to take this in or out as your setup dictates. Now, as we open this drawer up, you'll see a really cool feature as well, is that it has a lock and a key on the drawer latch. So for a state like California, where when you're transporting a handgun requires that the handgun be locked away and out of reach from the driver, this could potentially satisfy that requirement. Obviously, check your local laws though for making sure that this is compliant. Now, as we open this drawer up, you can quickly see just how much space 38 gallons buys you. The drawer has a removable divider here right in the center. For myself, I generally put all my kitchen gear in this compartment here, and I will put all my ancillary, my fire starter, my chairs and that kind of thing in the secondary compartment. Again, this can be moved and changed if you needed to subdivide this one way or another. Just how big is this? Well, for a sense of scale, I am able to lay my iCamper Disco plate all the way flat inside the front compartment. All right, now that we've got everything out of the front compartment, you'll see that there's kind of this cylindrical shape, little flap here, and it's secured down with two bolts or screws on either side. So I generally keep this screw just finger tight. If you take it out, you can slide this out of the way and check this out. As you slide the drawer back, this actually gives you access to the space that is underneath the drawer. And in the Jeep JK and JL, for those who aren't familiar, you have a tub down here where you can store extra gear. And normally when you install a drawer system, this is totally lost. But because you have access to the space now, it gives you, again, additional storage. I put my shackles down here. I have my tow rope, I have a tree strap, a snatch block, and some extra fuses. I generally just keep this one side loose and keep the other tightened. That way I don't have to worry about losing two screws. That secret compartment is totally unique to the Savute drawer system, and you won't find that anywhere else. With any other drawer system, that's just lost space that you can no longer use. Now, one of the really crucial things that I've learned with the drawer is it isn't just enough to have the space and just to throw crap in there, but the things that are in the drawer also have to be organized so that you can easily get things out and you can easily put it away. So let me show you exactly what 38 gallons with the JK version at least buys you and how much stuff I can really store inside this drawer. So in the rear here, I generally start by packing my two backpacking chairs, which can fit real nice on the right hand side. And then I also put this bag in, which has my toilet paper, extra lighters, fire starter, that kind of thing. I'll also put my wash bin, an extra lantern, as well as an extra propane tank. I also put the Disco's tripod here all the way in the back, just like that. And then I have a medikit, bandages, that kind of thing that I put right back here as well. And even with that, you can see still plenty of room to add additional things. Now for the front side, I always start with the iCamper Disco plate, which I'll put right there. Have extra paper plates, the cutting board. I have my spices, which I'll put here, the burner, the stove, all the things that I need for the Disco in that compartment. Here is part of my coffee setup. I also have my dish soap and things, which will go in this corner here. I have my, in case I need it, my jet boil. And then some paper towels, my coffee setup, and then hand sanitizer and a few ancillary things. And lastly, my extra dish plates. And still, with all those things, you can see just how well it all packs into the drawer, and I have plenty of room to spare. Again, really important with drawer systems. It isn't just enough to have the drawer and throw all the loose gear in there. You still want to be able to put things in nice packages and bags and things to keep it organized. These mesh bags that I have are actually by a company called Tactical Baby Gear. They're not necessarily meant for this purpose, but they're relatively inexpensive, and they just work phenomenally well for keeping your stuff all contained. Plus, it has mesh on it, so if anything got wet or it's still wet from when you were washing it, it can air dry in here while you're on the trail. One feature I did forget to talk about is this drawer also has a latch, which allows it to basically lock out so that it can't slide back in on you if you're parked on a slope. And as far as this molded compartment goes, to pull it out, you basically put a couple fingers in here, and just give it a good pull. It fits pretty snug, so sometimes you might have to reach underneath a little bit and grab it up, and you can literally just pull this insert all the way out. And in here, I basically keep the things I need to access relatively often, but I want out of the way. So for example, some gloves for when I'm winching. I also have a air compressor back here, and then a few other tools such as a tire repair kit. Again, all this is easily accessible, but when I don't need it, I never have to look at it. Now, one mod that I actually did is I glued in this little cable organizer into the open hole. Just this way it prevents, you know, when you're rock crawling or there's a lot of bumps in the road, things like that, from these cords feeding back down into this panel. So now I can always have a plug 2x USB. This is for the drone. I can add plenty others as well, just through this little hatch there. Now, if you have a fridge in the back of your Jeep Wrangler and it's sitting on any kind of elevated storage platform, such as this drawer, there may be one issue that you have to solve for. And let me show you. As you pull this out and your fridge gets to its farthest extent, you may not be able to open it because it hits the top of the hardtop of the Jeep. Well, Big Country 4x4 thought of this as well. So check this out. We undo that latch, the same one on the other side, and this allows the fridge to tilt, just like this. Now, just like the drawer system, this fridge slide is beefy. A beefy set of hinges, it slides smooth. Numerous times, I've had the fridge fully loaded up for a week-long trip. I've had it sitting in this tilt for over an hour so that I can load things, take it in and out, and that kind of thing, whether I'm at camp or I'm at home loading up. And I have never had to worry about this fridge slide pulling off of the drawer. This fridge slide is attached all the way around to the top of the drawer, straight through the plywood. So it's not coming free, and it is totally built tough. Let me show you some of the unique features about this. To open the fridge slide, you simply just press this latch in. You see there's a little plunger that moves out of the way and allows the drawer to clear. Like everything Big Country 4x4 makes, it has a super beefy set of sliders here as well. So it's always smooth, the bearings ride really nice, and don't have to worry about them failing. Whenever you're ready to put the drawer back, you simply just keep pushing. This plunger rides up along this metal piece until it pops right into place, where it is now secure and not going anywhere. This fridge slide gives you basically two mounting holes on either side here, on both the front and the back, so that you make sure that your fridge is nice and secure. Now, the tilting mechanism is controlled by these latches. There's one on each side. If you do not want to tilt, you simply just keep this latch secured, and it will simply just hold the weight of the fridge just like that. If instead you want to enter tilt mode, simply on each side, just undo the latch, pull it back, and then allow it to drop with gravity. I generally guide the fridge down here so that I'm not allowing this to totally just slam down. I'm sure they could still hold it, but either way, no need to test it out. Once you're all done, you've done what you needed to do at camp, you can then close this up, pick the fridge back up, and then just slide it all the way back. Now, this particular fridge slide is a 50 liter, but they also make a 40 and a 60 liter. And also realize that it's not specific to the Savute drawer system. So if you have a different setup and you just want an awesome fridge slide that is built to last and can tilt, you can attach this to kind of whatever custom installation you want. One of my biggest concerns when I bought this was that it was going to interfere with my Frontrunner tailgate table. So obviously when I'm at camp and I'm cooking on the cutting board or doing whatever, I want to ensure that I can still access things in the drawer while having this out, and I wouldn't somehow have to store the tailgate table up every time I need to open the drawer to get something. So luckily for me, with this Frontrunner tailgate table, it actually works out just perfect. So when I get to camp, I can lift this latch, take the drawer out, open the cutting board, and then the drawer clears just perfect, allowing me to access everything I need in here, put it out on the table, and I can essentially just keep this tailgate table out all the time while I'm set up at camp. All right, well, it can't be all great, right? The biggest two cons for the drawer that I see is price and weight. The drawer comes in at $1,480, so about $1,500. It is not cheap. However, if you're looking for the best way to maximize space in the back of an already small vehicle, I don't know that there is a better way to do it on the market. And when you look at what you're getting for $1,500, obviously you get all of the factory finish, the custom cut panels, the carpeted top, all of these things, but you're also getting a very, very high quality item from a company that's been doing this for years. And keep in mind, this drawer has to be shipped from South Africa to Texas and then shipped via freight from Texas to wherever you are. So all that gets wrapped into that cost. For weight is the other big con. So it weighs about 150 pounds, and the JL version is just a little less, closer to 120 pounds or 130 pounds. How do I count for the weight? Well, I have TerraFlex Outback 3-inch springs on the front and the rear, because I also have the iCamper on top, which certainly weighs down the vehicle. And in addition, to level out the back, I have a 1/2-inch pucks above the coils as well. For the fridge slide, absolutely no cons. The thing works great. The only downside I would say is the price. The fridge slide comes in at $450, making it not necessarily the cheapest fridge slide that you can get out there. However, the tilt function is very, very unique and may be actually required depending on your setup, like it was with mine. Now, all that said, how can we save a little bit of money on this drawer? Well, I got a coupon code for you. If you use Rhino Offroad at ruggedboundsupplycompany.com, it will give you 10% off either of these items, making it just a little bit more affordable for you. Guys, I hope this was helpful. I get a ton of questions about this drawer system. It has been featured in almost every video I've put out in the last 2 years, and I am stoked to have it. This is by far the most important upgrade that I've done to my Jeep. It facilitates me getting out on the road easily every single time, and especially with kids, it is one less thing that I have to think about. I don't have to think about where I'm gonna pack my kitchen. I don't have to think about where I'm gonna pack my camp chairs. All I have to do is pack a bag of clothes, pack a little bit of food, some water, and we can be out on the trail within just an hour or two. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to throw it down below there in the description box below, or anything that I may have missed, because there's certainly a ton of features to cover with this drawer system and fridge slide. Other than that, hit the subscribe button if you found this helpful. I'm Kevin with Rhino Off-Road, and we'll see you on the next one.